Okay, so we'll go on next, okay, to the next phase, all right? So you're more or less past the 2 weeks, you're approaching the 1 month mark. What to expect at this stage, okay? So feeding starts right from day one. So if you talked about colostrum, which is what you're produced in the first few days. Now then you'll notice that mommy's breasts start to feel more full and you're going to have milk that's looking more whitish, yellowish hue. So breast milk basically provides the best nutrition for baby with the right amounts of nutrients, antibodies from mom, as well as hormones. So breastfeed exclusively as much as you can, and some breast milk is better than none. So when exclusive breastfeeding is not possible, then formula is a good alternative or a supplement if you need to. Okay, so after delivery, basically hold baby near to you, okay, have some skin to skin contact. We've got the lactation consultants around to help you right from the first day. And always try to establish a bit of a bond, okay, don't be too stressed, drink lots of fluids, have lots of rest. And this will help with getting your milk supply going. All right, so in terms of development, you'll find that in the first 2 weeks, baby was mainly sleeping, crying, pooping, peeing, and that's basically the routine day and night. Now, when baby's a little bit older, past 2 weeks to 4 weeks, you find that baby can start to open eyes a bit more. Baby can start to look at your face and smile. By about a month or two, you find that baby can follow movement. So if you sort of walk past baby, we find that baby can catch your eye and sort of follow you as you walk past the cot. Baby will also make some sounds like ah, oo, e, a, yeah. And this is the time when you can try a bit of tummy time. So not after a feed, but usually before the feed so that it doesn't press into the tummy, baby doesn't vomit. So at tummy time, basically it's mainly to train the neck muscles. Okay, by about 2 months, you find that baby can lift head a little bit off the mattress. And by about 3 months, the head control is pretty good. All right, so vaccines. So we talked about some vaccines that will be given by the nurses in the first few days of life. Subsequently, there is a vaccination schedule to follow locally. So I think every country's got a little bit of variation for the vaccination schedule. And even locally, I mean, there are some vaccines that are encouraged, okay, and there are some that are optional. So vaccines are important to keep your little ones safe from infections as they grow up. Now, when the baby is immunized, okay, the body sort of responds to the jab by producing antibodies to help your baby fight off the disease if he comes in contact with that particular germ. So always keep to the recommended schedule, which your pediatrician will explain to you after birth. Vaccines, I know, most parents get a bit traumatized because it involves needles, there's pain, baby cries, there are side effects. So what are some of these common side effects? So usually a low-grade fever may happen. No, I wouldn't say in all babies, okay, but the most common is usually fever, a bit of soreness at the injection site, look for redness, a bit of reduced feeding, a bit more fussiness that few days after the jab. And most of the time, I mean, the side effects do resolve and a lot of babies actually get through the jabs without much problems. Okay, so this is just an overview of the vaccination schedule locally. So you can see lots of letters, you've got the diseases on the left columns, okay. In terms of timing, there's some variation in different areas. So if you do it in a polyclinic, if you do it at your GPs, if you do it at your pediatrician, please go through the clinic when are the vaccines done, because there are slight variations about which month it's done. At the end of it, basically, baby will still get all the jabs that he needs. It's just that in terms of timing, there may be slight variation between clinics. So it's always good to have a mental picture of what to expect and when. And basically, in Singapore, there are sort of regular vaccines that are more encouraged, and there are some that are optional depending on what your preference is. Okay, so colic, I think a lot of parents have read about colic, they've heard of it from friends, they know what to expect, they're not sure if, the baby's having colic. So colic is something that you're going to see fairly early on. It's common in the first few months. And the definition for colic is the number 3. So you get crying spells for 3 hours a day, more commonly towards the end of the day, like in the evenings, more than 3 days a week for at least 3 weeks. So not all babies fit this 3 definition, but basically you may have a baby who's rather gassy but doesn't actually fit this colic definition. The good thing is that most of these colicky, gassy symptoms get better by itself, and most of the time, by about 4 to 6 months, most babies are not so gassy anymore. So usually what your pediatrician would teach you would be some techniques to calm and soothe baby. So you can do some cycling movements of the legs. You can do a bit of downward strokes of the tummy. Keep baby close to you. You can do a bit of gentle rocking movements when baby is very, very fussy and crying. So these help to keep baby close, help baby feel safe, and it usually helps to calm baby down quite quickly. Now, reflux is common as well early on in life. So majority not serious. It gets better as baby gets into a more upright position. Reflux is also something that a lot of parents have read about, they know about, okay. So what happens is that baby tends to do a lot of spitting up. So after feed, some milk comes out. Some babies do a lot of arching, a lot of fussing during and after feeding. So the trick to it is basically you can sort of do burping halfway through the feed if you feel that baby is rather gassy and doing a lot of fussing. After the feed, keep baby upright, like in a burping position, either over your shoulder or on your lap for at least about 15 to 20 minutes. Now, if the regurgitation, the spit outs, the vomiting, the fussiness is persistent, please see your doctor because there are certain medical conditions that we need to make sure it's not, okay?